You won't believe what just happened. Leandria Johnson, the gospel powerhouse known for her raw honesty, has finally confronted Pastor John Gray, and she did not hold back. After years of watching him make headlines for all the wrong reasons, she's calling him out on his repeated cheating scandals and questioning whether he's even living the Christian values he preaches. And let me tell you, things got heated. What she said left everyone in shock. And John Gray, he had no choice but to respond. But here's where it gets even wilder, because there's more to this story than anyone expected. Stay tuned, because we're breaking it all down. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Leandria Johnson has never been one to bite her tongue. Whether she's speaking on the hypocrisy in the church, her personal struggles, or the fake perfection some pastors try to portray, she has always kept it real. And now she's turning her attention to Pastor John Gray, a man whose name has become almost synonymous with scandal. John Gray, the once beloved pastor and leader, has repeatedly made headlines for all the wrong reasons: extravagant spending, questionable teachings, and most notably, his ongoing cheating scandals. Time and time again, he has publicly apologized, asked for forgiveness, and promised to change. But somehow, new allegations always seem to surface. And Leandria, well, she's had enough. In a shocking moment that no one saw coming, she finally confronted him about his behavior, calling out what she sees as blatant hypocrisy in the pulpit. But here's the real question. How did John Gray react? Did he finally take full accountability, or did he try to justify his actions once again? And what does this confrontation mean for his ministry moving forward? Well, we're about to break it all down. And trust me, the details in this story are crazier than you think. Let's get into it. To truly understand why Leandria Johnson had to step in and call out Pastor John Gray, we need to take a look back at how he got here in the first place. Because, believe it or not, there was a time when John Gray was seen as one of the most promising voices in modern ministry. John Gray first gained national attention as an associate pastor at Lakewood Church under the leadership of Joel Osteen. With his charismatic preaching style, humor, and ability to connect with people, Gray quickly became a fan favorite. His sermons were inspiring, his messages were relatable, and for a while, he seemed like a breath of fresh air in the world of televangelism. Eventually, he launched his own church, Relentless Church, and positioned himself as a leader who understood both the struggles of the congregation and the importance of faith. He preached about marriage, family, and the importance of integrity in leadership. People looked up to him, not just as a pastor, but as a role model. But as his influence grew, so did the scrutiny. It wasn't long before cracks began to appear in the perfect image he had built. Reports started emerging about lavish spending, six-figure luxury cars, expensive vacations, and extravagant gifts. And then the real scandal hit. Allegations of infidelity. The first major cheating scandal shook his entire ministry. A woman came forward claiming that she had an inappropriate relationship with Gray while he was married. At first, he denied everything. Then, as more details surfaced, he changed his story, admitting to emotional unfaithfulness, but insisting that it never turned physical. The damage was done. The public started questioning everything about him. His sermons about family and marriage suddenly felt hollow. His apologies sounded rehearsed. And while some of his supporters stood by him, many felt betrayed. But here's where it gets crazy. Because this wasn't a one-time mistake. It kept happening. Gray would apologize, promise to be a better man, and then just when people started to move on, another cheating allegation would surface. It became a pattern. And every time the church community was left asking the same question, how many chances does one man get? This was the breaking point for Leandria Johnson. She had seen enough. As someone who has openly battled her own struggles and faced judgment from the church, she wasn't about to let John Gray continue to hide behind apologies and empty promises. But how exactly did she call him out? And what did she say that had everyone talking? Well, this is where it gets even more explosive. If there's one thing about Leandria Johnson, it's that she doesn't hold back. She's not your typical gospel artist who sugarcoats things or plays it safe. No, she speaks her truth, raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. And when she decided to call out Pastor John Gray, she did it in a way that left the entire church community shaken. So what exactly did she say? And why did this confrontation send shock waves through the gospel and Christian communities? Let's set the scene. Leandria, who has been vocal about the hypocrisy she's witnessed in the church, had reached her breaking point. She had seen men in ministry fall short time and time again. But what angered her the most was the way they used the pulpit to manipulate people into forgiving them over and over again. And Pastor John Gray, he was the prime example of this.